the story of NASL is also great because we have these open qualifiers where people can make a name for themselves. People like Boyo and Bly. Bly has been this guy. First of all, he's this guy in the top left corner. He's an orange Zerg. But Bly's always been this guy that's been performing well on online tournaments. And he's been overshadowed. Who do we have on Acer that's a Zerg? We have Nerchio. We have Scarlet. We have, all these other people that, Acer's been known to be like a Zerg. That's what the joke was. It was a team full of Zergs. And Bly's been overshadowed, but he's actually been performing really well in online tournaments. When you look at Zotac, when you look at the online Playhem Cups, Bly has done really well, even the Go for StarCraft II. And I think it's time that people start paying attention to these European Zergs. Nerchio did really well at IEM Gamescom, and his teammates have been doing really well as Scarlet's doing phenomenal in WCS. And Bly, what if he gets an NASL Season 4? Another great story of an Acer Zerg performing well.
Bly's a sicko, man. And when you have resources like all those other Acer Zergs, it's really easy to get better. And I think that's what's so powerful. Think about it. It's like, oh, man, I don't know this timing. I've never seen this before. Hey, Scarlet, what do you do in this situation? And she's like, oh, I crush it with this. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, I'll never lose that again. Thanks.
Yeah, and that's something that imprints in your memory for a long time. And it's not something you should block out of your memory. It's something that you should remember for a while for future use. Oh! Oh, Bly. He is so cheeky. Look at this. He's blocking immediately the wall to make sure it's going to be really difficult for him. Now, what he chooses to do with this expansion is actually quite...
It's going to be Zerglings.
Yeah, he can do a lot of things.
He's going to... This kind of secures his Zerglings into his opponent's base no matter what. It's just at a very, very intense cost. I would actually love it. I would love it if Boyo sent 6 or 7 workers. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah. This is a build that I saw HeyPro do against Nannywall in the MLG Winter Championships. And I remember HeyPro did this, and Nannywall could not wall off. And HeyPro won the series, by the way. It was the deciding game number 3. And Nannywall, it was on Shakir's Plateau. Nannywall could not prevent the Zerglings from coming in. He could not protect his mineral line. The big thing is whether or not this cannon can be protected. Now, Boyo immediately walls off because he thought the Zerglings were going to target it. But at the same time, Bly, I guess he's just going to supersede it immediately and just expand. So what was different was that HeyPro from this point on made roaches and completely tried to bust while pressuring the Nexus. In this case, Bly is just going to try to completely disrupt the mining of the natural expansion and get really far ahead.
Yeah, well done. Honestly, well done by Boyo, I think. I mean, I think Boyo has defended this perfectly.
Yeah, he's got a cannon by his natural mirror line as well, so the Zerglings can't stick around forever.
Good micro, making sure that his probes will stay alive for the most part. Zerglings don't really want to engage. They just want to keep harassing, because as soon as they actually stop, like this is free money right there. It's unfortunate. Boyo needs to get a Zealot, though.
I'm a little surprised that that Bly didn't run to the main. I guess he was worried about getting blocked by the probes, but it would be a lot more harassment potential if he did so. At the same time, Bly using with what he can. He's shutting down half the mineral patches, which is still really annoying for Boyo.
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, Bly has taken a long time to get this set up. It's almost 6 minutes in the game. The third should have been already done by normal standards, but I mean, this is just standard Bly.
Standard Bly going crazy on us. And I think he won't be able to really do much else from here. Boyo's just going to take an incredible advantage in this early game stage. But he has to stop with these probes dying, man. These probes are unnecessarily dying. 3 already. Yeah. 3! My gosh, it's so many.
It's just annoying, too, because it just disrupts, almost everything. Normally, you just try to say, like, well, by now, I should be able to get this many units out with this kind of tech out, and it's 6.5 minutes in the game, and everything is just kind of out of whack. But Boyo's the one who's kind of relatively stabilized. He was able to get his Forge up at a nice time. His Warp Gate is actually not too far behind compared to everything of what Bly wants to do. And if we look at the resources lost tab, even though Bly is just barely behind in terms of resource loss, he lost a lot of time, I want to say. And you can see that he's actually going to stay on 2 base, not going to go for 3 base at all. And I mean, from here, what should Bly really do, Andre? I mean, granted that he's got a full scout of his opponent's base, but what's the advisable thing to do?
He needs a hard counter. I mean, really, everything needs to hard counter whatever is coming out, and he sees Stargate. So immediately, what should be thrown down is the Evolution Chamber and just mass queens from here on out. And you want, when you're hard countering something, you want to actually go something that has end game potential or mid game potential, something that gets you that bonus. Like if you go Hydras, that's actually terrible because Boyo is just about a minute, 2 minutes more developed than his opponent. So you're in a position where you know, your Hydras are going to be hard countered yet again. It's going to be a combination attack. So get a ton of queens out. Just try to stop that. Try not to get as many spores. 1 or 2 is fine. But if you can defend that and basically take no damage, then you're that much closer to getting back in this game. But Boyo really has all tempo, has all advantages in every single sort of this game.
If you're just tuning in, we're in the middle of a series between Bly and Boyo. Bly is up 1-0. Game number 1 was actually quite funky, and it was a proxy Spinecrawler rush with a fast lair off one base. And it would just transition to a very awkward game. But now, game number 2, we're kind of in a similar position where both players are just in a kind of an awkward spot. The timings are completely misaligned. But we do see a little bit of pressure on the third base from Boyo, and he does have 4 gates and also Void Rays behind it. And he wants to shut down this third base, play 2 base versus 2 base, because that's what gives him a slight advantage. By making Hydras once again, really edging towards it, because of course he sees that the Stargate tech. But overall, I think Boyo's doing a nice thing here, just pressuring and not trying to overcommit. He does want to pull some of his Zealots to really handle the Zerglings, but with these Void Rays here, I don't know really what Bly can do if he lets his snowball out of control.
Yeah, I mean,
he's gonna do so much damage.
Oh, and the Hydras pop out in a very unopportune time. These Zealots were actually right next to them, and now you can see the Void Rays are being handled pretty nicely. Do we? I want to see. Do we have a Robo transition yet?
I don't know. No, he's investing so much into this that Boyo doesn't really have the gas flexibility to do so. And I was actually really surprised because Boyo, he was trying to reinforce, but he didn't have the sentries to force through the ramp, and now as a result, things are kind of awkward in terms of being able to constantly push down this ramp. Wow, this is just this is such a weird game, Andre. Man.
Yeah, from here, there we go. Boyo finally putting down the robotics facility. I think this is actually very, very late. But it's unfortunate for him. For now, Hydras and Zerglings are yet again what are, you know, just fluttering across the field. Yeah. And we might have a huge confrontation coming up pretty soon.
And Zealots are actually surprisingly good at zoning off of the Hydras. If you can get them to get them up close with force fields and have them add all their DPS to the fight. When Zealots completely confront the Hydras, they die really quickly. But the fact is Hydras can kite very easily on creep. Now, Boyo's trying to get a position where he forces the Hydras to the point where they can't run, but I mean, he doesn't really have very fast units. In fact, all of his units are really slow, and the Zealots are now directly engaging the Hydras. And look at how fast they die, but at the same time, the Zealots are also getting chewed up because Boyo doesn't have a good amount of support units. This is just such small battles versus small battles. He's going to try to force field and confront the Hydras immediately while saving some of his Void Rays. And Bly not really cutting back with his Hydras. And we're just talking about very small micro battles, but it comes down to very good control from both players. And in the end, Bly is controlling slightly better than the player.
You know, I think Boyo's still doing a fantastic job. I mean, the fact of the matter is Hydras are still being made. Hydras are very gas intensive, and there's no real advantage that Bly has by getting Hydras. I mean, he's going to be hard countered a little bit later by those Colossus, which are, as we talked about, so powerful. But Boyo did mess it up last game. He did mess that up, so we'll see. That might potentially happen right here. He is very, very gateway light. He doesn't have a lot of units to really supplement anything because of all of the harass in the beginning stage. But I think Boyo, I mean, he's in position. 3 more gateways are being added on. We have a Twilight Council and a Robotics Bay on the way as well. This is going to be a 2-base all-in for sure.
Now we enter the point where, I mean, all the timings have been thrown out the window, especially since Bly is going for Hydra lane. And he does have +2, which is really significant. One thing that's kind of been delayed this entire time is Protoss doesn't have +3. They're working their way towards +3. A lot of Protosses, when they go for a huge push with Colossus, they want to have that DPS, because when you have +2, you start to one-shot Zerglings. You're able to really zone off all of the Hydras. And now, because of it, Boyo delays a lot of time. His Sentry investment has been very high because he's been trying to push all of his gas, and as a result, delays his Colossus, Andre. So he doesn't have a lot of energy on his Sentries either, and even if he does, he delayed his Colossus because of it. So even though he's got the right composition coming along, is he really going to be able to hold off against this huge push from Bly?
It's going to be tough. We're going to see right now, though. Thermal Lance isn't finished, so there are only 6 range, but the Hydras are being segmented right here. That helps a little bit, but no real back support over there. For sentries and stalkers, the only things that can target them, and sentries are not good at killing Hydras, let me tell you, Frodan.
Yeah, it's this is an ill-advised attack because he's attacking upper ramp, forcing all of his Hydras in a bad position, but at the same time, Bly is already preparing his transition, getting a Spire, knows he needs to have those Corruptors to deal immediately with the Colossus. And the big thing is, as long as Bly knows his opponent's not taking a third, Boyo is just going to be really limited on what he can do.
Yes, indeed. Spire Tech is almost finished as we speak, and a lot more Hydras are actually added to this composition. 11 Hydras and 20 Zerglings, and look at this creep spread. My goodness. No, it's actually not that great. 3 creep tumors are on the field. Nope,
it's
a
like
little
15, 16 minutes in the game, and
6.
he's got like 5 tumors out into the game.
And that's not good. When you're a Hydra Zergling army, no, not good.
Yeah, you need to have this Hydras be able to have as much mobility, just because not only are they low in HP, but they're low in mobility off creep, and they easily get sectioned off. If they get caught, you can't really run with them, especially with Stalkers with Blink coming onto the field. Now, Boyo has a lot of things in his favor again, but we'll see whether or not he's able to get a good position. Last time, he exposed his Colossus too close to the reinforcement point of Bly. Is he going to be able to get a good position? He has 2 Colossus, and +2 will finish momentarily. And he's trying to expand to his third base. Is Boyo really going to push in here? He doesn't have that many sentries or force fields at all.
He can kite. Oh, this is good for... Nope, now it's... Okay. What does he have to do, though? Protect his Colossus. Please protect them. And there it is. The Blink is going to start up, taking off the Corruptors immediately. Very nicely done. And you can see these Hydras are D-E-A-D dead. No chance. Bly's going to lose everything right here. Boyo is going to clean up and probably progress on into the third base. If he keeps this up, protect your Colossus!
Yeah, he is. At the same time, though, Boyo, again, didn't have a lot of force field to control space, so Hydras did do a significant amount of DPS to the ground army. And at the same time, the big thing is that Boyo did manage to keep one of his Colossus alive, but he's got a second one also on the way.
Yes, sir.
Rallied up, and +2 finished mid-fight, so now his Colossus is a little bit stronger. And +2 Colossus can one-shot Zerglings, so it's going to be really tough for Bly unless he gets an amazing, amazing engagement.
Yeah, Zerglings are actually the most hilarious things against Colossus. Especially, I mean, they're not going to be able to actually overpower anything. And I think Boyo should just continue on. Just Stalkers, only Stalkers. Of course, you want to defend back here, but only Stalkers for now. That's really how it is, because the Stalkers can tank for a little bit. The Colossus are going to do a ton of damage against Hydra Zergling, and you are able to protect your Colossus, obviously, with that anti-air. So Boyo can keep this up, or he's just going to chill in the middle of the map. This is very ill-advised. I don't actually think that he should be right there, because he's not doing anything with army, right? He's not pressuring anything. Really, he's actually putting himself in a counterattack position, so this, not bueno.
But at the same time, this kind of composition from Bly is what really favors Boyo, because when you go for Colossus balls with Sentry Zealot, it's really good against Infestor Ling as long as you don't get fungled. This is kind of like the composition Hug really wanted to do against Scarlet, but was not able really to execute because Scarlet just went Mass Roach and just killed him. And so as long as you can have the Colossus adding a lot of DPS, control the Zergling flanks, you'll be in a very good position, and Boyo is now really trying to do this carefully, pushing up with his Colossus in the back. Wants to also force to keep the Zerglings away, and the Infestors as well. Doesn't want to get the fungals, but his Sentries get fungled once again, and that can be a huge deciding factor as the Colossus now gets completely locked down, and Bly is completely flanking the Protoss army, completely devastating everything. The Hydras are phenomenal against just pure gateway units if they have support. And Boyo once again having an opportunity, but may have bobbled his chance to really press in and kill Zerg.
Yeah, he botched that pretty hard right there. It's unfortunate.
Yikes.
And Bly off of this, off the I guess the counter, is actually not going to try to assert his advantage. He's going to just sit back, get the Greater Spire, and from there, obviously, get an advantage. I really feel like Boyo should have won that fight. The choice to engage was so ill. And from here, I mean, Bly, what are you doing now?
He's now attacking with no energy infestors, his Hydras and Zerglings off creep. Where are his Corruptors to deal with the Colossus? Bly disorganized, but I guess it doesn't really matter in this case. He's got so many more units that he was able to overwhelm, and the Zerglings really pressured the units off of his Hydras. But this is what we're talking about. Hydras can't run. Stalkers are blinking forward and trying to take out everything. And I guess Bly is just trying to reinforce, but his Hydras, they're so expensive and they cost so much, and Boyo was able to snipe a huge pack of them.
Yes, sir. And now remaxing on Zerglings. Boyo actually has... No, he doesn't have a timing. I was going to say he has a timing, but nope. Broodlords are on the way out already. No bueno, and Boyo is down to only 2 bases now pretty much. You can see the main is pretty much mined out. So not a lot of mineral income for him. He needs to think about getting a 4th base pretty soon. And this is difficult when you're up against Broodlords and you really don't have any Stargate tech. Stargate tech, I'm actually thinking more along the lines of the Mothership. The Mothership's obviously really important to deal with that, but not even Archon's out in the field. So Boyo in a very uncomfortable situation. And we'll see how he actually continues on with this. He just needs good engagements from here on out and to dodge that Broodlord pack.
And we do see that 2 Colossus are out, and Boyo still expects Massling and Fester, but he has to be wary of a Hive transition.
Oh.
And he does catch some Zerglings, but again, these Broodlords will control so much space. And normally when you do that, you add a huge amount of Stalkers, but Boyo, does he have enough Stalkers to really confront? He's got 14 thus far in his army, and he's now starting to join up a little bit more, so... but there's just so many Broodlords that Bly's been able to stockpile this entire time. 7 Broodlords is so intimidating, especially since he has new energy on his Infestors. And if you blink forward, Hydras adds so much DPS to really push the Stalkers backwards. Yes, and as long as you can control the Colossus, you'll be in good shape. The massive blink forward, but the Infestors are locking them down. The Broodlords are dropping pretty quickly, but the Hydras are also adding phenomenal DPS, and it's very close. But in the end, the Broodlords are just pushing back the army further and further behind.
I think Boyo has it, though. I think Boyo actually takes a huge win from this. The Infestor count goes down. Bly shouldn't actually be engaging here. There's the big blink on top. And now, finally, the Infestor count is rising up. That's what he should have waited for. The Infestors needed to be a lot higher. You can't be attacking with just straight-up Broodlords because the majority of your army is Zerglings. As you were saying, Frodan, they get one-shotted to those Colossus. Now, Boyo is in, again, a fantastic position because Bly has nothing. He literally has no gas investment. He's reinvesting in Hydras. No bueno. I've been saying no bueno all game long.
Well, okay, but I can understand where Bly wants to go with it. I mean, he has Hydras to really, again, shove off of the Colossus. But at the same time, I said Bly was in a really good position, but he was attacking into the Protoss. He was moving the Broodlords forward, and the Stalkers blinked forward. And that was a really weird position because normally you want to lock down the Stalkers, have the Broodlords push them away, and that way they can't really attack the Broodlords. You use that range to your ability. And Bly pushing into his opponent, as a result, lost way more than he should have, and Boyo now has a pretty good position where he's denying his, the expansions of Zerg. At the same time, Bly trying to buy a little bit of time with his Zerg and counterattack, but that's pretty much army that he's not going to be able to use in the main fight. And now Bly, he's not even really able in a good position to protect his 3rd base. And Boyo, if he just continues to kill his 3rd base, backs off, and continues to reinforce, is going to be in a wonderful position to confront Zerg in a couple minutes.
Yes, sir. I mean, just take out the 3rd. Oh, look at that. Even struggling units are going to get caught here. Broodlord is going to be left. He's just going to be like, yeah, you can go. That's cool. That's cool, no problem. And he's going to wait until that hatchery dies, and here's the big engagement. But the Hydras are so slow. He's like, I'm going to surround you! But the Broodlings already died, and there's the big cinch on every single one of those Hydras.
And there it is. G comes out from Bly. And Boyo able to weather the storm. That is Bly and his extreme tactics.
Oh my gosh, tactics galore. Those builds are absolutely insane. Boyo was able to come on top in that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it's a weird game with a very interesting result. Bly, it looked like he was able to take it at one point, but ends up giving up way more than he should in that second to last battle. And in the end, I admire Boyo's patience and able to really recognize what he needed to do in the situation. And that's all I'm going to say.